And then after that time, I began already kind of holding my fear, my unsatisfaction, and I was saying, okay, so I will watch what God is doing behind the circumstances. So maybe I don't like them, but maybe God is doing what He's doing behind it. And of course, there were many dissatisfaction, and as I mentioned, there were prayers, God, couldn't you do differently? Why did you lead me this particular way? There were those times. But the Father was teaching me to trust Him and to obey Him. And you know, when I received my permission to work in America, by the way, when the Father directed me to come to California, I did not have a place to live. I did not have a lot of money. I'm in the wheelchair. I have only a functional arm, and I don't have a work, even potential work, and I did not even have the right to live and work in America. In that condition, Father leads me to come back to California, and He says, I will bless you. Do not be afraid, for I'm with you. And I was learning to trust the Father, so I packed my luggage and I traveled to California. I stayed at the hotel because I was homeless and I didn't have anything. And so, again, the story is in the book, which is today available for you. But when I received my permission to work, the company where I began volunteering and working, I did not really want to work there. I didn't like it. It was a company that helps people with disabilities, and I'm trying to run away from disability, and I did not want to have anything to do that has to subject with disability. And I'm like, Father, I don't want to be there. Plus, I don't want to work in a nonprofit. I want money, I want business, I want normal work. What are you doing? And plus, they hired me as a program assistant where it was filing and, documents, whatever. And I'm like, I can do so much more. God, Father, why? I don't like it. And the Lord said, just be quiet. Just accept it. Just accept it and humble yourself, your ambitions, because I'm quite ambitious. If I set my mind something, I will do it. And I will be unstoppable, right? So, and many people already know me, that about me. And I was learning to trust God and said, okay, I will stay, whatever, I will see. And I just set myself standard that I will do my best in every task I am asked to do. I will go beyond and above. I will do 200% of anything that I'm asked to do. And as the time was running, I see that I get 2 promotions in a year and a half or so, and I end up working public relations, which was the position that I loved. I fell in love with my work, and I could sustain myself. The company totally changed, the office changed, everything changed. I get vacations. Those you live in America, you understand what it is, paid vacation or 100% health coverage, right? And I get all of that, and I begin saying, I love my job, I love where I work, it's unbelievable. Like, this is nothing where I came first when Father brought me there. And what's interesting more, the Lord points out to me when there was an economical crash in America in 2008. You remember that time? Companies were shutting down. Many of my friends who worked businesses, who worked normal jobs that I thought, I wanted, they were losing their jobs. Companies were shutting down, corporations going bankrupt, people losing homes, cars, all their possessions. And I am working a happy camper. Our company was steady. We were actually receiving the raises in our salary. It seemed like tornado of economical crash was sweeping everything that it found on its way. It didn't even touch me. I did not even feel it. I was just watching how many people around were going through hardships, and I was fine. And that again showed me that I'm your Father. I know what is better for you. Maybe the circumstances where you are today, maybe you don't really like them. And maybe you're not very happy about them. But if Father does not change them, no matter how much you pray, they are for your good, because God knows what He's doing with your heart. He knows what He's doing with your intentions. He understands you and what you need, and He knows the future. You don't know, but He does. And if He's holding you where you are right now and your situation does not change, no matter how much you pray about it, just trust your God. Right? Trust your God and humble your, ambitions, desires, and just follow Him no matter where He goes. And you will see it does work for your good. Then later you will be so thankful. Oh, how thankful I was for that job, if you just knew. I was just praising my God. So that way it strengthened me, and now I was already less showing my dissatisfaction, but I was more trusting God. And when I wrote my book, and that was many years ago, it seemed like 2003 was, and I was already 13, and I was already happy, like, yeah, I am writing this book for your glory, and I'm going to share the testimony just as like promised you. And without even asking God, Lord, is it time? Is it good for me to do it? I just begin, I'm an achiever, right? And I don't stop when I set my mind on something. So I am just running, and I put the fundraising project online because I did not have the editor and the money to publish the book. And to publish the book, it needed, I saw, about $10,000, and I wanted to have a good editor, but I didn't have the good editor. But I'm like, well, hey, you have to go and do the job. You can't just sit and wait, right? And without even consulting with the Lord, I go and I do the fundraising project online, with the Kickstarter, if you know. And as soon as I launched that project, I see it, and I understand that it's not going to work. I just know it. And it was even so strange. So many people were saying how excited they were that finally my book is coming out, but the money were not coming in. And I was already at some point, I'm like, God, this is not going to happen, and getting stressed and like, why? God, why? I am doing this for you, and I so waited, and I wrote this for days and years, for 7 years. And I'm like, God, why? And then I go finally on the knees, right? Which I should have done the first time. And in the prayer, I get this quiet voice, leave it alone. Just leave it. I have the money and the editor. It's all ready for you, but it will come when it's time. And for now, go read my word and seek my face and what is my will for you. And He gave me that peace that surpasses human understanding, and I knew that it's God's will. It was not very easy for me, though, because many friends were asking, so how's the book going? How's the book going? And for me, it was not easy to say that it's not going, that money did not come and I don't have anything. But I was just saying, you know what? When time is right, it will come. It will all come. Marina, you still remember my friend who was with me from the very beginning of writing till publishing. And I just kept saying, when it's time, it will come. And the year passes by. At the end of the year, I have a tradition to make an overview of the year. And I do that in writing, write the diary. And I was so really depressed. I was so down because for me, I constantly achieve goals and I see the progress. And if I don't have the progress, I'm not achieving what I said, I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper. And at the end of the year, I see that my biggest desire to publish the book didn't happen. And nothing is going on. And everything is shut down. And the whole year is silent, dead. And then I hear this quiet voice, Look behind the circumstances. Look what the Lord has done through everything that happened this year. And I changed my perspective. I started writing what the Lord has done through what happened in my life. And as I began writing, my eyes became bigger and bigger out of surprise. I saw that the Lord did a microsurgery with my heart. My intentions changed. My desires changed. My goals changed. My inner being transformed. And I saw that, God, I was not ready for this book to be published. I was not ready. And actually, I understood that if I pushed the publishing, I would be so sorry for it. I was not ready for it. How many times have you tried to run to do something and your doors were not opening up? Maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe it's not the time yet. And out of my experience, I want to say, do not persevere, but do not push it against Father's will. Pray about it, and if it's not the time, you better trust your God that He knows when is the time. The second year passes by. Again, the book is not published, but Father leads me through certain circumstances that were needed to be included in the book, and I see that the book was not ready when I wanted to. It was not finished. It was not complete. So I'm like, God, thank you that you did not allow me to publish that book when I wanted. I am so happy. If I had pushed that publishing, I would be so devastated. So now you changed me. You changed the book. The book, I tell you, entirely changed. Like the entire thought of the book completely changed through all that time. The third year passes. I'm working on the book and I'm praying. I said, God, I trust you that when the time comes, you will bring everything as you said in my prayer. And here at some point to our work, we decide to hire a temporary contractor to help with the project that I was working on. And we hire Robert Davis, and then on the first day when we go out for lunch, he tells me that he is a writer. He is the editor, and he has worked for many companies as writer and editor, and he worked for presidents of the United States, editing their work. Particularly one president edited his book. And I'm like, God, is this you? So I go pray and I say, Lord, okay, so maybe that is the editor. I said, if this is your time, then give me the money. I need the money. I need about $10,000, and where can I get? And 3 weeks later, I meet up with one person, one individual. He asked me to be incognito, so I will not say who that is, even though you might not know. And after talking about the book and where it was, he said, I will fund your book. And I'm like, no, this is way too much. This is $10,000. Are you kidding me? And I said, go pray and then come back. And then after a week, we meet up again, and he hands me an envelope with a check with $10,000. And he says, I know this belongs to Unstoppable. Go ahead, publish. The world needs to know your story. And do you understand, when God decided He's going to do something, He has everything. He has the money. He has people's hearts, and He directs them however He wants. He's got it. It's just everything has to happen on its own time, when the right time. If you push your thing, whatever you want, when you're not ready or when your ministry is not ready, it's not going to work. But if you wait, if you be patient, and those who wait on the Lord, they are blessed. Those who trust in the Lord, they will be blessed. And over the years, trusting God and watching what He's doing, this is just like 1% of the testimonies that I have in my life. But I will just say, you know what? After watching all these things that the Lord has done, it's really, I'm so happy. I'm happier than I was before the car accident, really. And it just showed me that, Father, He's got you. no matter where you are. So much depends on us, what we do when things happen in our lives. God will do his job, but we need to obey, to trust him, and to do whatever we have to do. God has a plan, and he will be working his plan the way he has planned. It's just what is needed from us is to trust him, not to be afraid, and to not choose the easier route, but to go through the hardship if we have to. And in the second part of this event, I want to share with you the lessons that I have learned. When I was writing the book and analyzing, I know that the testimonies that I shared today, I think a big reason why I get to live those testimonies, because I trusted God and I worked. And I managed myself. And I want to share those practical lessons that I have learned to pass it on to you. So when the storms come, when the tragedy hits you, when the problems show up, that you know what to do and how to have that steadfast faith that is unshakable, and what to do, how to manage yourself so you actually get out of that storm with a victory. So for now, I will say that we soon will have a break, and then I will give my mic to Angelica. We'll see you later.